Today would be a good opportunity to talk heat and how the many different ways that we heat our greenhouses, because I'm starting to clean up the fern house here, and I thought rather than waste natural gas, I would heat this greenhouse with wood today. So we are doing a kind of a trial run here on our wood burner. I always like to do that and make sure that it's going to work good for this year. So we've got a fire started here and we'll see how it goes, but I thought I would take you on a little walkthrough tour of our greenhouses and explain to you how we heat and how that we have several different forms of heat. In this fern house, of course, all of them will mainly heat with natural gas, and in the fern house we have a 200,000 BTU natural gas furnace, and we use it for the main part. Now the wood heater, it's a pretty big heater, but it takes an awful lot of heat to heat up a greenhouse. This is a 30 by 60, this greenhouse is, and we can run this wood burner full blast, and I have found that it will heat the temperature in here about 30 degrees over whatever it is outside. So it'll keep things from freezing in an emergency. So that's the main reason I have it. And on really cold nights, I like to keep it going just in case something would happen. So I'll keep it running through the night just so I can start out with a good hot fire. So I thought we'll just take a little walk around tour, and I'll tell you of all the different forms of heat that we have and how we use them. All right, guys, I thought we would just kind of give you a little tour here and show you the different sources of heat that we have. We'll just go ahead and start here in our fern house. This house here we call the fern house because we kind of dedicate it completely to ferns. Now we'll raise a little bit on the outside benches, but we'll have ferns hanging on those drippers, and then we'll have ferns on the floor. So basically this is dedicated to ferns. This is a house that we run really warm. That's what it takes to get a big fern. So we'll usually pair up plants with it that require a lot of heat. So we'll just take a look here at our wood burner, and I just want to also say you're kind of my guinea pigs here today. We're trying out a new toy. I have since I do all of my filming with an iPhone, I don't have a computer, so anything I do has to be done with a phone. I have purchased a DJI Osmo Mobile, and I'll do a video on that sometime and kind of show you how it works. It's basically a stabilization gimbal, and allows you to take some smoother videos, although I am not real good with it just yet, so this might not be the best one, but we're learning. But we have an Englander wood burner, and let me show you the box here. It'll hold quite a bit of wood. We can get about 3-hour burn on that, during really cold nights if we have to run it wide open without choking it any. But we actually mix a little bit of coal in with the wood, and that helps. Of course, if you watched my video there the other day, you saw that we did a video on our alarm system there, the thermal alarm. That's first and foremost when it comes to heat here in a greenhouse. If the temperature drops too low, then that will set off a siren that will let us know that we've got a problem we need to take care of. The wood burner, we don't have it thermostatically controlled. I'll just burn all it'll do, and it will raise the temperature about 30 degrees from what the outside is, and that is basically just a backup or kind of a help to the furnace. Now we have a 200,000 BTU Modine furnace in here. It's an older style furnace, but it'll heat this fern house just fine. This is a 30 by 60 house. 200,000 BTUs will heat it without much trouble, but the wood burner sure helps a lot, keeps it from kicking on. Those are the two sources of heat in here, and we're going to go on over and I'll show you the source, what we do in our smaller greenhouses. Alright, this is our smallest greenhouse, and it is just a 12 by 24. It is the first one that we built in 1999, and my hopes and plans are next year to replace it and the cold frame that I'll show you with a larger house to make it a little bit easier to grow vegetables in. But anyway, we heat this little greenhouse here with a 30,000 BTU ventless gas furnace, and it works great. It does a really good job in here. It has a thermostat on it so that you can kind of set it, and then we'll set a fan behind it there to, and just on low, just enough to stir the air a little bit and move the air around, and that works really well. But I do want to show you a trick. When I built this greenhouse, put the first ventless heater in here, of course they are equipped with a safety mechanism that will kick them off if they don't get enough oxygen. Well, it took me a little while to figure out how to solve that problem, but if you're going to run this kind of a heater in a greenhouse, I'll show you what we did to solve it. And we just took a couple of 4.5-inch PVC pipes, piped it outside, elbowed it up, so that this furnace can draw fresh air from outside, and that solved that problem completely. It hasn't kicked off since. So that's something that you want to keep in mind if you're going to heat your small greenhouse with one of these furnaces. You can get a real surprise. So, but that worked for us, and we'll move on up to the other greenhouse. I'll show you what we've got going in there. Okay, this is a 24 by 48, and you guys are familiar with this greenhouse if you've been watching my channel. This is the one that we have been working in the most, trying to get ready. So, but we just use a 200,000 BTU Modine furnace in here. This greenhouse was built in 2001 and has really served a good purpose. These are all Atlas greenhouses, and I could not be happier with that company. I love their style of greenhouse, and I haven't had a bit of trouble with them. But a Modine 200,000 does fine in here too. In fact, it might be a little bit much for a 24 by 48. It's not a really big greenhouse, but natural gas here also. Okay, we are in our biggest greenhouse now. This is a 2-bay gutter connect with a total width of 60 and a total length of 96. So we'll do a little panoramic here of the. We are just getting started cleaning up in here, so that'll be a job for this next week. This is the greenhouse that we really need to cover as soon as we can get to that, weather permitting. The main source of heat in here is a 300,000 BTU natural gas furnace, and it will do it. It'll heat it most of the time, but anytime that it gets into the 20s or below, then we have another backup system in here also. We have an LB White propane furnace that will kick in. These are all thermostatically controlled, and the primary source of heat will kick in. Then on the far end of the greenhouse, we have another propane furnace. Let's see if we can get it into view here. Kind of see it down there on the far end. It is also propane, so that furnace down there will kick in. If the big one can't do it in about 2 degrees, that one will kick in, and then we'll come back here to the LB White. 2 degrees later, if the furnace on the far end can't seem to do the job, then this furnace will kick in. But it's hard, as I had said in a previous video, it's hard for a 1-inch line to carry enough gas to heat all of my greenhouses. So if this furnace can't get enough gas, then the other ones will kick in with propane as a kind of a safety. So those are the two main sources of heat in here. But I wanted to show you one more thing, and then I'll quit blabbing. Okay, you see the cold frame over there? It's a 12 by 60, and it's got the straw in it there now. We'll heat that with just one of these torpedo heaters. And we have an inline thermostat for that. We have 2 of those. One of them is diesel kerosene either, and this one is kerosene only. And they are plenty sufficient to heat the cold frame up because I don't run it very, very warm. and they will back up my other greenhouses. If all else fails, I have 2 of these that I can run in the other greenhouses to keep them from freezing. These are 155,000 BTU, and I have one that is 175,000 BTU. So no problem. If everything fails, we have these as a backup for those greenhouses also, or this one. So I just kind of wanted to show you that. And they work good. The other one has a thermostat in it, and we have used it for years. We just purchased this one this year. The other one we've used for a lot of years, and it has heated the cold frame just fine, because I'll normally put plants in there that I don't want hot or warm even. So if it keeps it at 40 or 45, I'm tickled to death. So that's but anyway, that is an overview of how we heat our greenhouses and our safety checks that we have in place. So I just thought I would kind of give you a little tour of what we do here. We're going to try to get these greenhouses cleaned up. We're running out of time. We've got about 3 weeks probably until our ferns will come in. So we're going to have to get moving here and get things wrapped up. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch up with you on the next video.